Well, Maneet, it's finally nice to meet you after all these years of helping with the awards programs. I am here with Maneet Bansal from Meta and pretty much everywhere else on the internet. And I really appreciate you jumping in and letting us learn a little bit more about you.
Thanks, Russ. It's a pleasure to be here.
So why don't you just give us a little bit of background about yourself and kind of what you're working on, and then we'll get into it and ask you some more pointed questions.
Sure. Before Meta, I'm working with Meta for around like 5 years. Before working with Meta, I was working with AWS like for 6 years almost. So specifically in Meta, when I started working, I worked with like orchestration systems, like specifically similar to step functions in AWS and whatnot. And gradually, as the AI landscape start changing, I started working with uh, Meta's in-house uh, work like orchestrator system, but in the AI space. And now, like since last year or so, I am dedicatedly focused on that, and that framework is publicly known, FB Learner Flow, that is used by whole Meta to train all the models, all the AI models.
It's got to be a daunting task. You're touching systems that touch, millions, if not billions of users. What's one project that really shaped how you think about that in terms of engineering, about, working with billions of users?
It is, as you mentioned, it is a great big responsibility when you are talking about all the ML systems goes through the system that you are maintaining, right? It is not about doing multiple things. Of course, you want to do. As per like working with these fan companies, you need to always deliver a lot. At the same time, it is also like deliver responsibly, right? Any downtime is not acceptable. It's really daunting when you're sitting on a system that goes through like billions of dollars every day. So you have to make all the decision very responsibly. Right. So I give you an example that when you go on the GPU training, right, each and every job that you place, right, and you place like millions of jobs daily, each and every job that system is placing, and if it got stuck, we are talking about millions of dollars of loss, right? So it's a you have to build all that monitoring, all that ability to debug and get unblock. All these things are pretty challenging, but that is the fun of the job.
Well, it is the fun of the job. I imagine it's also the anxiety of the job of, wondering, I don't know, I always wonder like what's that one thing I forgot to do or missed or step I missed that keeps you up at night? What's the one thing when you're building these huge distributed systems or AI infrastructure that like keeps you up at night?
I would say it's not one thing. I would say it is the series of things that you, as I mentioned, you want to build responsibly. But one thing that I am really passionate about is observability of the system. Like no matter like you are working as part of the team, everybody is passionate about different things, right? Like my passion is to make sure like whatever you're building, you have enough observability into it so that when it comes to using it in production and users are using it, they are loving it. They are not like, hey, what this system is doing, there is no black art going behind the scene. Things are obvious to them as much as they can be. At the same time, you want to give them the right abstractions, and these things like make things harder, where you have to build the balance between both. So that is specifically my passion about it.
Yeah, it's amazing that you have that much focus on a million tasks going into a machine. I would imagine that's just like, from my background, it's just a huge cybersecurity risk of, you've got a million inputs going into an AI machine now. It's got to be a big concern for engineers and developers and companies.
You are right. I mean, this is one thing very different from, as I mentioned, right? For like 10, 12 years, I was working in the cloud computing space, where you are providing services that are used by everybody, right? Now you are working on working on the specifically the systems that are working on AI training. One thing I have learned is these workflows are very, very different. In case, for I give you a concrete example. In case of cloud, right, you have these services running maybe on thousands of machines, millions of machines, or whatnot. You want to all the task, all the request was similar. You can put them on any machine. You put them behind a load balancer and they are going to any machine. You don't never worry. But when it comes to AI workload, you cannot just throw them on anywhere you want. First you have to figure out like what is the free right hardware for this specific request, how much GPU it needs, how much RAM do you need. So the other example is throttling. All you need to, in case of cloud workloads, you need to control how much traffic is coming in the system. That is you're enough, right? But in case of AI workloads, you are not just protecting your system, you're protecting the down system where you're reading the data. So all those problems are, I wouldn't say harder or easier, I would say different, and these are the new challenges that are coming in the computing space. So it's very good time to be in that space.
Yeah, it seems like the network effect has taken over in AI, and we've got these just massive amounts of complexity now as you try to build these out. Like you said, it was easy with cloud, it's one for one, but here you're really asking for different intelligence, it seems like.
Yeah, and it is like, you're building these systems and you need AI to build these systems. And that I was actually joking with my coworker yesterday, like, hey, they are saying AI gonna take jobs or whatever. Like, I like things are getting complex, man. We need more engineers to solve these complex problems rather than taking jobs. So yeah, I would say like landscape is definitely changing. This time these jobs look different technically. Maybe these are like pe- like frameworks or design principles are not there yet. So these are like totally new problems that we are facing.
Yeah, we have a lot of new problems and a lot of new things to figure out. I agree with you. We're gonna be needing engineers for quite some time still.
For sure.
What do you like? So when you go into these, what's the biggest blind spot that most companies are finding with AI? I mean, when you're talking about a deeply embedded, AI into our systems, how do we even start to, handle that in terms of cybersecurity?
uh, I would say like in terms of cybersecurity, right? These AI systems, like for example, there are a few big companies that have everything, right? And there are not right set of guidelines built, what to share, what not to share. And let's say, for giving a concrete example, you want to solve a problem, you ask some LM chatbot or Claudes or something, like you build a problem. But if you are vibe coding, you are not paying too much attention to the security, as well as you are sharing already what you want to put in your system. That's a big security loophole, right? Anybody who is good enough for reverse engineer can figure out like what you must have put in the system. So these kind of things are, I think, big loophole. At the same time, I wouldn't say that the way to solve is like to make just systems intelligent. It is the right set of guidelines and controls that whole industry need to come together and build. Hey, what kind of, when you are producing a code, what kind of guidelines or what kind of things to warn about. So these things are, because the field is new, so these things are quite missing.
Yeah, and from what my experience in seeing the nominations is that we've seen a lot of cybersecurity tools and cybersecurity companies kind of add AI into their mix. Do you think AI will become part of the solution, or do you think it's kind of going to be a separate thing for cybersecurity?
I did my master's in 2013. At that time, like when I was working, the my professor at that time just came back from sabbatical from some cybersecurity company. He used AI to train the system to detect the bad actors. So I would say, AI is definitely was there and will be there to solve the problem. It is about the people who are using AI, how they are using the problems. If you are just throwing AI for the sake of throwing AI, you are not helping yourself. You are creating more vulnerabilities. But if you are using these ML systems and models, right, in the right way, right, I remember the way he was doing is like he was taking every input string that is coming through the router and running uh, KNN algorithms to figure out like if it is like bad detectors, some mismatch. And it was like he created a whole company in 6 months, right? Because he knew what he was doing. It is the right way, and I would say AI will help in improving the security doing the right way, but it can also bite you back.
Yeah, I would imagine, and I would imagine that there's almost got to be even more critical thought about and security around people getting inside of your company. I can't imagine what would happen if you had a rogue engineer writing code into your AI. Maybe that's a book.
I actually, do you watch this Fireship YouTube channel or whatever?
No.
So it's like kind of funny. It kind of news thing, but it he covers one topic in a really funny way in 2 3 minutes and whatever. So 3 months ago, somebody's like, okay, what these engineers are doing, he created a Vive app in like couple of hours and put that on the internet. And bunch of people just out of fun took a kind of shot at it and start like finding security vulnerabilities. At the end of the day, there were like 2,000 security vulnerabilities in the small vibe code. So yeah, it gonna be a funny time sometime.
I remember somebody did that. We launched a website probably in the late 1990s.
Oh.
And somebody, I think we told our employees, hey, go find any, bad links or typos or anything before we launch it to everybody. And somebody wrote a script, went through the whole website in like 2 minutes and sent us and sent us a whole report. And we had a bounty out, $10 a link or something. And the guy made $500 or $600 just on our little bug bounty. I would imagine that's got to be an interesting thing for engineers now if, with these bug bounties, is you could literally train your AI on software and say, go find the bugs.
Yeah, I mean those SQL injection days, right? Like you used to pick up these random websites and like, okay, let's try if they are like know about SQL injections, and so these things are quite back. When AI is generating code, okay, oh, this is vibe coded. Let me break it up.
Yeah, yeah, let's get at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, not in a bad way, but like just to have fun.
No, as a marketing and salesperson, I know how good and bad AI can be. It definitely tries to squeak some stuff in there that's not just right yet. I,
Yeah,
d-
I think I also would like to know your perspective. What shift in this, like as a marketing person, you have seen in this field?
It's definitely an enabler for us. I mean, it allows us to do more with less. But you are working with, I think as I tell friends and family, you're working with, a junior person. It might be somebody with a high school degree or, just out of college. And, until you train it, it's going to make mistakes just like a regular employee. So you have to kind of treat it like a regular employee. And once you do that, you guys have made the system smart enough to kind of know what we're talking about. And so I'm super appreciative of it. It's interesting to see, the impact on our market as it goes along because we've dealt with spam and fake content and everything else, and now we've made tools to make it. Uh, so,
Yeah.
so I think, it's up to platforms like Meta and Google and everybody else to kind of help us segregate, the real from the AI.
Yeah, definitely it is. As I mentioned, it's a whole collective industry responsibility. There is like this next wave from Mustafa Suleimani. It's a very very good book to read about. He talks a lot about. He is right now head of consumer AI in Microsoft,
Who is
and
this? Sorry.
Mustafa Soleimani. He is
Okay.
like head of consumer AI in Microsoft, and he was one of the like three founders of DeepMind. So he's the first three one. So his book is like quite famous in like he talks a lot about having a uh, creating these systems responsibly and what are the downside of running away from that responsibility. You are practically giving such a big uh, tool and like really powerful tool to everybody, right? So you better be careful. So he has very interesting perspective if you ever got a chance.
Yeah, and we're going to need police on this front too, because the bad actors are already out there and they're already building, I'm sure, their own LMMs
Yeah.
and everything. So it's, crooks will be crooks.
Yeah, I mean it gonna be actually he talks specifically about when we have this like kind of big things like nuclears and whatever. There's like the barrier to entry was so high, right? You were not too worried about like some random bad actor getting access to it. But now for this barrier to entry is so low, and kind of misinformation campaign that you create, it can be very dangerous, right? So it is not like just for companies, not just for governments, not just for people, for everybody to come together and come up with the like set of guidelines, what you want to and what you want to control.
What excites you most about what you're working on right now? What are two or three things that have you really excited? I know there's a lot of change in AI, especially at Meta and the big companies right now.
Yeah, so I would say the biggest thing that excites me is you don't know what you are gonna do next. So things are changing so fast. Let's say previously, like you have like okay, you want to build this thing, right? And it takes 6 months. You have this plan. Okay, in 6 months I wanna do this and whatnot. Right now things are changing every day. Like I remember 6 8 months ago, like we are all focused on okay, training part is like the projects that we are doing, pre-training part is okay. Now we need to work on inference and whatnot, right? To make our system intelligent work now. And all of the sudden now there is this agentic part, right? Like with MCP things talking to with MCP, LLMs become just a node in the system rather than the whole system, right? So you want to build like orchestration around how to talk with different LLMs, pass the data and whatnot. So problems keep on changing, right? Before you have like solved or find a way to solve the next problem is there. So this is very, I would say, exciting to me, where a lot of ambiguity, and best part is nobody knows what to do, right? You are your own and you are trying out things, which always a creative part for engineering.
Yeah, you get to figure out how it works.
Yeah.
Not you're not reading the manual.
Or the reading the books, like
Yeah,
or asking some chatbot
or
how
the SOP or
yeah, we try.
I imagine it's a lot of fun. It's like you're building little products in every day.
Yeah, little products and best like and you are building responsibly, right? It's not like okay, let's hack out around some things and see while you are building and coming back to the original point. It should be usable. It is like like you have enough visibility into it, like what you are building. So all these make the problem very challenging.
Now we've talked a lot about a lot of serious stuff in AI and ML and LMMs and more acronyms than we know what to do with. What's something fun or unexpected people don't know about you?
Oh, yeah. I would say I play poker like a lot. I kind of studied it like 6 7 years, and I was on the point where I was like, okay, maybe I should leave computer science and play poker professionally. But yeah,
Well,
so
side hustles are good.
side hustle, i I still go there sometimes because you have to like travel a lot, and these poker tournaments are a lot of fun. Sometimes like whenever I go, I like play long sessions, 7 18 hours. It's just
Wow.
yeah, this is like a very perfect mixture of mathematics, philosophy, psychology, and it's just a lot of fun.
Well, we appreciate all your hard work for us. I think you've scored almost more nominations than anybody else. Your profile on the site looks pretty awesome with all the badges. So thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I just take a lot of fun and lot of enjoyment in volunteering. Like all those it's just not about helping others. It also helped me go through different applications and getting to know what people are doing nothing, and like, oh my god, these, like, we have this criteria, right, scoring on the basis of how original the idea is and how um feasible the idea is. So like when you're like looking at that different dimensions, it just gives a lot of perspective. So thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, when you're reviewing these, what stands out? What one immediate thing stands out to you when you're reading through?
So this is my style. It can be different for like different people, right? I go through first, like just scan through and try to make a mental model. Hey, on the basis of creativity, like how new the idea is, like, and how feasible the idea is. These two are very different dimensions, right? Then I try to look at, like, okay, who are the competitors and then what are their market standing and whatnot, right? And once I have this mental model, then I go through the application more carefully, try to see if there are numbers, if there are at what stage it is, if it is 100 customers, right? Like what kind of feedback or help I can provide them to what to focus next, right? One of the block is like, hey, what feedback you have, right? So those kind of thing. And always like somebody is participating, you want to be give them constructive feedback and a lot of motivation. So then I try to come up with, okay, what help I can provide them. So this is my way of how I go through different applications. It can be different for different people.
And you've got a lot of amazing experience, um, both on the business side and technical side. How do you balance that, in scoring these nominations?
I would say when it comes to the business part, right? I look for the metrics that they have. Like, it when metrics do not need to be how many customers you have. If it is an early stage, like, of course there are no customers, right? So then I look for the metric, the market analysis, like, how much potential it has, how much, what is the scope of the industry they are in, right? So these kind of things, and on the side of technical part, I see, okay, if there are already 1,000 different competitor, what stands out, you, right? There are a lot of nominations I see around in cloud security and cyber security around, hey, we have a centralized place where you can monitor and you can observe all the data that is passing your system, like really good and really impactful problem to solve. At the same time, how you are different from your competitors, right? Like how basically are you uh, trying to solve this problem from some specific industry, like medical, or like, education, or you are different because you are using some novel approach to solve this problem. That part goes into the technical front.
You have a ton of experience, well, reading all of these especially, but really working on them. And that's what kind of makes, I think, our model unique is we actually get real people who do this for a living, reading stuff. Um, so let's turn it around. You've been doing this for a long time. You've been at all these awesome companies doing amazing work with AI and ML. What would you give an engineer today who's just about to graduate? What advice are you going to give them in this space? How do they make their mark?
I would say, like, some things never change. Like even 100 years ago, like I would say, this the advice was like, just focus on the basics, right? Always try to work with like really good people, and rather than trying to find shortcuts, right? uh, like yesterday I was hearing there was something like, some students like use AI to pass the exam to get the job, but now that job is done by AI. So, like, do not take shortcuts, like, focus on the basics, right? And always like try to surround yourself with good, hardworking people and good mentors, and the success will come your way.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you said a couple of things earlier about being passionate about it. And I think that just finding a little bit of passion in your work goes a long way.
Yeah, passion is one thing. If you're not passionate about, then if you're not enjoying, like one day you are like, hey, this is like just my job then. But if you're passionate, you will find creative ways to, fulfill your curiosity.
Well, all right, one final question for you.
Mhm.
If you could pick another career that's not AI, distributed systems engineering, where are you headed?
I guess I
Maybe other than poker too. Professional poker player.
Uh, I guess I would like to try some creative field. I would have loved it, some kind of music instrument, because music kind of gave me a lot of, soothing experience. I don't know how much successful I would have been, but yeah, I would have definitely tried this kind of career.
All right, now we got three quick fire questions.
Ooh.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
One technology you can't live without.
Google Maps.
100% agree. All right, the last book or podcast that inspired you.
Um, Courage to be Disliked. It's a book from Japanese author.
All right, you're going to send me the link and we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah,
And what's one word to describe the future of AI security?
it's harmless. Remember that the Mike Douglas Adam book, Hitchhiker Guide to Galaxy. He talks about Earth like harmless.
42, 42.
But yeah, it's an interesting space, and I would say we created it. We'll make sure it's in control.
That's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Maneet, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. It was so great talking to you and learning a little bit more about you.
Thanks, Russ. Thanks for the opportunity. I really
Appreciate it.
Mhm.